Hello, welcome to Game 4 of the Begin Games Finals. Fika Monster's up 2.5 to half, so Crlundy's going to need to win this one, and Fika's first player. We've got Delay, Market Square. So there's some nice stuff you can do with Delay and Market Square. Unfortunately, there's not really any draw at all other than like Wishing Well. So it's going to be tough. You can get somewhat thin with Temple, and I think you need to do that. Temple's a little bit nicer with Fisherman because sometimes you end up with Temple, 3 coppers in the state, and you end up with 2 coins, and you're pretty happy to buy a Fisherman in that turn. In is not so nice with Fisherman. Makes the Fisherman cost 5 pretty much always. Perhaps always. I wonder if even in this situation I think I might, you have to play the in if you want to afford the things that you need to afford, so I'm not sure. I think definitely Market Square. Market Square lets you delay things. You want to get those, but it feels pretty bad. I assume now Fika's going for gold. I probably open here Fisherman Temple if I have 3-4 or 2-5. And Temple Market Square if not. There's even a thing you can do where if you have like Temple with 4 coppers, Temple Market Square, 4 coppers, you play the Market Square, delay the Temple, and then buy your thing. So that's kind of nice. The Legionary attack is strong. The problem is, how do you reliably collide your gold with your Legionary? It doesn't seem very easy. In fact, it seems very difficult. That's the opposite of very easy. I realize I just repeated myself. What I'm saying is, Wandering Minstrel, which sifts through to find your actions, is going to discard your gold. And if your deck is thin enough to only have cantrips and gold, then where are your green cards coming in? How are you scoring points in that deck? Again, the deck that has Legionary attack maybe is not scoring either, so maybe that's fine. But I don't know. Crlundy can delay the Legionary now. And maybe you try to get alternate turns. We have a whole bunch of Market Squares. You play them all, and you delay 3 cards. And so every other turn is a good turn with delay Market Square stuff. The alternative is you just get some hordes. You get fairly thin with Market Squares and Fishermen, and you get some hordes, and you just gain a bunch of golds, get a bunch of palace points, slog it out, and turns where you could just buy a state or duchy or whatever gets you a gold, and you get some silvers and coppers, and you score a ton of palace points. The thin Legionary deck can't keep attacking you. And the thin Legion, I guess the Legionary could have a ton of silvers, a ton of golds in it that it tries to sift within Wandering Minstrel, but it's not getting palace points because that deck can't really support a ton of silvers. So it all seems very difficult to make this kingdom work. Herbalist. So we have a very thin deck with lots of Wandering Minstrels and Fishermen and Market Squares, and 1 Herbalist and 1 Legionary. We sift through the whole deck, finding all the action cards. We use Herbalist to top deck the gold, and then we believe we can sift through everything with a whole bunch of Wandering Minstrels. And then the provinces we throw away with Minstrel in. Does that deck work? That deck feels a little bit janky, maybe a lot janky. I think that deck can work, though. Basically, you're just cramming in Minstrels, Fishermen, Market Squares, 1 Herbalist, 1 Legionary, and a couple of golds. And then you're hitting province with the coin from Legionary, Herbalist. So you need a 4-card hand in the end. No, you have Fishermen, right? So you need your hand to end up at Herbalist, Legionary, Gold, and you assume you got the other coin from Fisherman to buy province. So as long as that deck that deck cannot support any ins at all if you're getting attacked, is the problem with that deck. If you're getting attacked, then you only end up with a 3-card hand, and then in takes you down to a 2-card hand. So Minstrel, well, okay, so in that deck, I guess, Minstrel is top decking actions, right? So Wishing Well can wish for actions if you have enough action density. So Minstrel and Wishing Well, in theory, can play really well together. And Wishing Well can basically be a lab in that deck with enough action density. I feel like that deck will work. It may be a little slow to get together, and it is super weird to be playing with Herbalist as a key card, but Fika's now getting their own attack in, which is nice. With this 10, I would strongly consider Minstrel double Wishing Well, to try to get the thing. In Fika's defense, I didn't think of that either for quite a while. The deck I'm talking about, I really want to get all the stuff going. Oh, they did go Minstrel double wells. But my ability to predict even, small games, medium games, even like Grand Market, Grand Prix type games, what exact buys they have is usually pretty low. So it's always nice when they... Yeah, these ins are just incredibly awkward. It feels quite nice to wish for copper and find it in a deck this big with only a couple of coppers in it. Yeah, there's two schools of thought in that kind of situation. One is you wish for copper because it's the most common card in your deck. The other is wish for legionary because it's the best card to draw. So you're most likely to draw a copper, but you're not really happy if you do, but it cycles. You're least happy to draw, you're least happy to draw copper, but most likely to. You're least likely to draw legionary, but super happy if you can spike one. So here Crlundy can trash Temple Copper and get a legionary attack in, which is nice. And I think they've got 10 again. I would consider going Minstrel double well again. I would also consider my Herbalist plan. I know it's a bit crazy, but the Herbalist lets you get the gold on top. Otherwise, your Minstrel skips the gold every single time, and it's really sad. But yeah, so here they can play a wish and wish for wish. I think they should wish for Minstrel now. Seems like the most likely card to find. Down there. It was eventually the card they would have found. Okay, so now they can... I guess they need to wish for Minstrel and now cycle back around. Yeah, so now they should be able to guarantee... They should be able to even get a trash off this turn. It looks like, if I'm tracking your deck correctly. Yeah, so this is sort of the dream of the Wandering Minstrel Wishing Well deck made manifest. It looks like Crlundy had it in mind a little bit faster than I found it. Here I'm going Fisherman, Minstrel, Temple, I think? I don't really see a need to green. Yeah, maybe there's a way to do that. Fisherman, Minstrel, Temple. Take a couple of VP, give you something else to trash. You kind of want to have one Minstrel for every Wishing Well. You want to have those in pairs, and you've got a little bit of a VP lead. I don't like the Horde. And up to them if they want to take the Temple. I think once you start or the Herbalist, once you start adding green cards, the Herbalist becomes important. Crlundy seems pretty comfortably ahead. I think the Minstrels are much, much better than the Inns. And the Inns are just sort of shooting yourself in the own foot here. Yeah, 2 Wandering Minstrels, Fisherman, 2 Wandering Minstrels. I just like the Temple because, Crlundy feels like ahead, so there's no... So, like, if they take the Temple, they're further ahead, and now Fika's got to get more provinces to catch up. And, maybe Fika's not even in a position where they can take the Temple points because they're behind, so they'll be able to take... Crlundy can take the Temple points next turn, perhaps. Probably want to discard Market Square Copper here. You want to make sure to keep the gold in hand as much as possible. Seven's a bit of an awkward price point here. Perhaps you just take Minstrel Market Square. That, I mean, I want to take a Minstrel and then not much else to do, so Market Square seems better than nothing. There's potential if you're overdrawing with this Minstrel Market Square Wishing Well stuff that you can fairly reliably delay a Minstrel, which almost guarantees that you'll draw a deck and have a good turn. This is the part about the gold that's sad. But it looks like they'll have enough overdraw here. They can order it in the right way, discard copper gold. So they have gold, hoard, copper, gold. This should be, I think you want to play the Wishing Well last because you know what the bottom card is. You could have delayed it. So I'm not sure why they bought a hoard. I want all my money to come from Fisherman, essentially. And 1 gold. I want only 1 gold as my treasure at the deck. Fisherman Temple. Yeah, I think just another Minstrel, another Market Square seems fine. Crlundy seems in good position. The estate for the gold seems so odd. What are they, like, you're not reliably going to double province multiple times, so just get to a deck that can province once and reliably, and you should be in good shape. Fika's still struggling to draw through, and we're seeing this problem. The reason I suggested buying an Herbalist, which is normally insane, is so you can top deck a gold, so you can just make sure that Minstrel doesn't flip it over. Here we're okay, I guess, but Crlundy's got enough overdraw that it should be fine. I think Crlundy could have delayed a Market Square last turn if they'd played it a little cleaner. If every Wishing Well wins, and I think they could have guaranteed 1 more Wishing Well hit, they do have 1 card of overdraw, which means they can delay 1 Market Square Wishing Well Minstrel. Yeah, the silver seems bad. Silver's like Duchy, except you don't want to buy Duchies because they clog up your deck. Silver's another card that the Minstrels are going to flip over and make it harder for the Wishing Wells to hit. I disagree, Moyo. I disagree, I think. I don't think the inn would help. Ouch. So all the golds were revealed. That's why you don't want to hoard. Like, really, I was serious about only you have exactly 1 gold in the deck, and that is the only treasure in your deck. And until basically the end of the game, and if you need to buy a silver and a copper on your last turn for a couple extra PP, you can. But I feel pretty strongly that that's the best build here. And you really should be playing all these Market Squares before the Wishing Wells. Gives you the best chance of hitting. Because now if you had one of those Wishing Wells instead of the Market Square, you could see. It's possible here that. Yeah, but you have to have overdraw for that to work. And I don't think there's overdraw. Crlundy doesn't even get a Legionary attack in. Probably they should just delay the Legionary. There's just like no reason to add more than 1 gold to this deck. Fika's doing the things now. Yep, so you want to wish for wish, play the market square, hopefully trash the deck well enough to know what the bottom card is. I think you don't trigger a shuffle here. Okay, I think you play the market square here and then delay the wishing well so you don't trigger a shuffle. Okay. They weren't listening to me, but that seemed like it would have been a much better thing to do. They don't trigger a shuffle. They've got a clean wishing well coming in, and they've got enough money to buy a province. Triggering the shuffle lets them buy a fisherman, for example. But I'm not really seeing why that's helpful to their deck at this point. Yeah, I mean, the deck that survives it, though, is just the deck that we described. So minstrels, wishing wells, market squares. The fact that there's still minstrels in the pile is confusing to me. I'm going to play all these cantrips first to make sure we draw the well first. Nice, so now we can wish for wish, play the minstrel, and in theory get another wish hit. So this is a good draw, and we remember what we discarded, although potentially we could delay. Again, they triggered a shuffle there. I think you just wanted to delay. I think you just wanted to delay those two wishing wells to the next shuffle, and then I know you don't get to buy a fisherman, but their deck is going to fall apart once they add a bunch of green cards in it. I can believe fisherman double province. I mean, when I wanted them to empty the minstrels, and then the fishermen and market squares are lower, and 17 of their VP is in VP tokens, so they would, if they didn't have any green cards, they'd only be down a little bit, and their deck would be in much better shape. They could add 1 or 2 green cards, but I still think their deck is in much better shape. Fika is starting with this really small hand size and no minstrels, so they've got to get a lucky wish here, I think, to keep playing. Oh, they wished for a well with three viewed already. So they did manage to get the good ordering, which is nice, and they were able to find the legionary. It looks like their deck was going to draw anyways, but I think this wish for a wish was fairly lucky. I think they only had 2 more wish, like wishing for gold, legionary, market square, minstrel. There were other things they could have wished for. 2 and a 10% chance of that wish working, and if that wish doesn't work, I'm not sure that they draw. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't draw. So they picked the right wish, and now they can double province. No, they're going to delay. I will repeat, I really don't like the silvers here. So you can put the minstrel on top. Yep, now you can wish for a minstrel. This is quite nice. Yeah, so Crlundy this turn basically just needs to get province plus duchy, maybe, should be safe. I don't see how Fika is getting double province, more than double province. Although it depends on what their legionary, if they can get to the legionary attack. Crlundy's deck has gotten quite a bit worse in the last couple of shuffles. They've added golds and green cards. So probably they can't province here. They just have to take double duchy. With 12. Temple Double Minstrel. Any thought to Temple Double Minstrel? Lowers the piles with a 6 VP lead. I think I like Temple Double Minstrel. You've got a 9 VP lead then. And you're challenging. I don't like that at all. Fika, I think, can like get to double province estate with best possible draw. Or double province silver, or whatever the thing is to get the palace points. I'm not actually sure how many silvers they have, how many golds they have. I think they have 2 golds, 2 silvers, so I don't think there's an easy way for them to get there. So this is not it. This is only 15. So it would be a losing tie even if they had 1 more money. Although for Crlundy, it's not clear that they're going to get there either. So I think you just take Province Duchy as Fika and hope. It's not actually that close. You were first player, so if they were to take 2 provinces, they would lose. They figured it out very quickly, which is nice. Usually you don't think about this point of the game, you've forgotten. There's no way that Fika wins without taking another province, so I think they could just take it now. There's no way Fika wins if Crlundy doesn't get another province. So I think they just take it now. Yeah, Crlundy gets up to 47, which would mean Fika needs a province and 3 more duchies. Night Watchman. It's an odd one. I definitely wanted more market squares in either of these builds. I feel like there's more delay stuff that could have been happening. I think you play the Wishing Well first there. You get 1 more bit of information. If you play the market square before the Wishing Well. I don't know that that bit is actually going to be helpful at this point if we're not like tracking the decks. I at least am not tracking the decks closely enough to know the exact number of everything, but market square drawing minstrel is the best case. But in any case, if it draws a gold or something, it lets you know what, or another cantrip. You keep playing cantrips, or it just draws a gold or a province, then you know where you're less likely to see gold or province. But perhaps you were wishing for minstrel anyways. But yeah, I think Jackdal's right. So the problem with this sifting deck, which I like a lot, is that it's really hard to get the money into it to do stuff. They are also, unfortunately, 1 short of the win here. But I think they can just take province, duchy, and be okay with it. It's basically impossible for Fika to come back here from 18 VP. I don't like taking silver copper. I think that is too premature. I would have just taken, I think, province. I was even considering province temple market square, to be honest. I'm much more in the keep the deck thin, although this is the deck that had a horde and a bunch of golds. I think the deck that is single provincing is doing all right here. All right, so back to the wall. Game 4 goes to Crlundy. They've got to win the next one to tie up the match and take it to a decisive game. So I will join you all in Game 5.